What is cross-culture? Cross-culture is a concept that recognizes the differences among all the business people from different nations, different backgrounds, different ethnicities. Understanding is to bridge them. Well, I was in international arena for 20 years. I have seen all kinds of cultural problems that could break down the communication and business relationship. Ultimately, my message to you is don't underestimate cross-cultural understanding. If you think you understand the culture of the country just because you have been visiting that country, for example, China, just because you stay there for a few months or a period of time, or because you have been watching, pay attention on China, or even just because you have been doing a research on China, you could make a mistake. I don't mean that you don't understand it at all. I mean that you might be overrated the level of your understanding. All these things you saw, you watch, are just outward. It's just a tip of iceberg. What inside the water is a bigger picture, the intrinsic world formed by the culture. The number one common problem in cross-cultural understanding is stereotyping. I made that mistake. I made a mistake to stereotype all these people cross-culture from different nations that they are smart people. That means when they don't see the point, I thought I explain, they can understand. I was wrong. Let me give you the real life example. In December 2001, China joined World Trade Organization. Immediately in 2002, I brought a group of Americans to China surveying the market. This group of Americans were the board of directors, the president of the company. Unfortunately, they are like most of the Americans in all other nations. They have made two major stereotyping mistakes. Number one, they stereotype that when people show passion, friendliness, they are good people. They are good people. The basis of American culture is Christianity. They always believe first until they have a reason not to believe. They pay a big price for this. Second stereotyping mistake is they stereotyping that all this information provided by news, magazine, talks are reliable. They did not realize that they did not have the capacity to see the full picture, to understand the truth. When I tried to explain to them, they brushed me off. That was a big mistake, and they really paid a big price for it. Let me give you three scenarios. Scenario number one, in those days, when the Chinese saw the American visitor, wow, they see a big fish, and then they prepare for a big dinner. They put up a big show with a big dinner banquet. Wow, the Americans, they thought, oh, these Chinese, so friendly, so passionate. They really go out for it, believe in them. I tried to bridge the gap, help them to understand, but they didn't understand the brush off. The scenario number two was on the negotiation table. The Chinese, I will fulfill your requirement. I will deliver all your terms and conditions. Wow, the Americans, they're so happy, shake hands, or the deal closed. But they didn't know that in the intrinsic world, these two parties in the Chinese, they think, okay, sure, I will meet the requirement if it makes sense. Well, if it doesn't make sense, I will make it right and deliver, and make you happy. You should be very thankful to me. That was a disaster. The American thing said that, oh, don't just stay in the black and white. Don't take one word out. Don't add one word in. Just follow the black and white. Don't put your thought in. Don't apply your opinions. Don't read between the lines. You know, the Chinese, they don't know how to read the black and white as black and white. They have to put in that thought. They have to interpret. So that eventually make the relationship, the communication breakdown. Scenario number 3, agree to disagree. When I was at the top level in the American company, we often have day-long communication, discussion, and meeting. You know what? When we discuss, we focus on the facts, the paper, and all these things. But the Chinese, they will add in the feeling, add in the emotion. Eventually, they become personal attack. What is personal attack? Personal attack is they interpret all that they say into the person. They say that this person said this, that means you have this motive, you have this intention, you are thinking like that. So all this, when emotion, feeling comes in, it was a disaster. So in conclusion, fellow Toastmaster, you see that cross-cultural understanding is a big thing. Don't underestimate it. And also the stereotyping, you make things worse. You might not have a solution for it. I learned my lesson. When I saw this feeling and emotion, I stepped back and I leave. I took my hand off, because this human issue, feeling and emotion, no answer for it, no solution for it. Best is to stop. Well, it is not an easy lesson to learn, but somehow we will have to try it. This is my experience with cross-cultural understanding. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening. Ciao.